Thank you, Speaker. Last week, I and so many were horrified to see the Cumberland City Council vote to ban same-sex parenting books from 8 council-run libraries. During the debate, Councillor Steve Christou, who supported the ban, told the meeting, "This is not Marrickville or Newtown." I am proud to represent an electorate that is the yardstick for celebrating diversity, inclusion, and unique contributions of the queer community in our society. And I am proud to represent an electorate that is a scourge on the right-wing bigots. That being said, we need to address the myth that queer people only exist in certain postcodes, that you have the queer community over here, the migrant communities over there, the religious communities over there, and that they are all somehow separate. It is completely false to suggest that being queer and a person of faith are somehow mutually exclusive. In fact, in the electorate of Newtown, we are proud to have the Metropolitan Community Church in Petersham, which is open to everybody, including members of the LGBTIQA+ community, and we know that people travel to their services from across the state because they feel included and welcome. This kind of flawed thinking pits marginalised communities against each other and wrongly suggests that homophobia is somehow an integral part of religious or non-white working class communities, and that is just false. And that is exactly the kind of thinking that Councillor Christou and those who are peddling the kind of excuse to spout queerphobic drivel are relying on. They exceptionalise places like Newtown and make our community seem like some strange outlier when they are very much the ones out of step themselves, in order to censor parenting books or villainise drag performers. Now, here is the truth. Queer people, we know, are part of every community, and they are something to celebrate. LGBTIQA+ children are born in all sorts of families, all across the state. The implication that there aren't beautiful parents outside the inner city who love their children unconditionally and celebrate their identities is deeply offensive to all of those parents. Queer migrants and refugees who come to this continent and become integral parts of intersecting communities are important to remember. Over a third of same-sex couples in Australia weren't born on this continent, so let us stop pretending the LGBTIQA+ community has a certain look about them or comes from a particular background. In the electorate of Newtown, our community is continuously working to celebrate the beauty of recognising rainbow families in our schools, our learning centres and our libraries, and I'm so proud to represent a diverse electorate that is so welcoming. But it is absolutely not enough that there are a few queer neighbourhoods around Sydney that celebrate diversity. Every single member in this place needs to be standing for equality and against homophobia, transphobia and bigotry. Every person in this place has a responsibility to welcome and celebrate rainbow communities. But sadly, many aren't. And while I recognise the New South Wales Labor government has been careful to be able to say just enough positive things to the LGBTIQA+ community, and we welcome the apology made for the historic homophobia by the New South Wales government, it is important that we recognise that there are still many laws in this place, supported by this government, that provide exemptions to allow people to continue to discriminate on the basis of people's gender and sexuality. We know that in this very building, there are members of Parliament that invite notorious transphobes to give talks here, and that the rainbow community deserves more than simply platitudes. To that end, I would like to acknowledge the member for Sydney who has drafted a comprehensive bill to move us forward on LGBTIQA+ equality. Changes like self-ID for trans folks and anti-discrimination protections are things that the Greens have been pushing for decades and we will continue to support. It is clear that those laws are needed now more than ever. But the New South Wales government must not delay, and that means putting their full support behind the bill and recognise that when it comes to equality, we cannot compromise. In the absence of real leadership from governments that are successive over many years, activists have taken to the streets, responding tonight outside the council with chants and cries in support of equality and rainbow rights. Caroline, a Cumberland City Council resident and proud grandmother, worked from that area of a rainbow family, said and worked with Equality Australia to gather 40,000 signatures calling for the council to rescind its book banning. It is people like Caroline who we should be celebrating in this place and thanking for her commitment to equality for all.